Hello, and welcome back at the Shack. I'm Stephen, and for another Fireside session on the more of life and the wondrous journey to which we belong. When I left you at the last session, I asked you to consider the question of value, and have you put value into your life? Do you feel valued? And today we're going to touch on why that is so important. We're going to look more into the implications of life's journey and our part in it. I'm going to make suggestions, and we will add to them as time goes by. But that namely, that we are all the same age. In the beginning, we were, in that very first moment, when life found us in the rock, turned the key, and freed the locks. A beautiful question came in that the vision of the journey of life's journey, I think, answers very well. Thank you, Susan. And you ask if when we meet difficulties in our life, did we ask for them? Well, it's not a simple answer. In some respects, we do ask for them. As you know, there are consequences to our actions and our non-actions. For instance, if we're driving erratically, we can expect an accident. And then there's also implications for our non-actions. And this is so important in life's journey. If we do not stay with the qualities of life, we somehow leave ourselves open to be breached by that which surrounds us. If you remember last week, we held up the cover of Something More. And it illustrates a ribbon of life, and in the midst of it, a heart. And wrapped within the heart is a rose. The ribbon of life is surrounded by turquoise and deep darkness. And this has much to do with some of the difficulties that we meet along our way. I want to go back to my family briefly, because the issue of my in-law's suicide remains something that we are burdened with, something that we are attempting to get our hands around. Clearly, it may be possible, for instance, that Tony had allowed unnecessarily some depressive moment or whatever to open the door for that dark act of taking his own life. But let me ask you, friends, could it be said in any way that the beautiful Autumn, Josh, and Nick, these wondrous, beautiful young children, needed or asked for this time of being fatherless and alone, these deep holes in their hearts? No, friends, we do not always get what we need, and we are not resolving karmic debt. In the view of life's journey, we accept the suffering and the challenges as part of that conflict between life and that which surrounds it. And we all know that quite well. It is so important, therefore, that we stay within life's values, the expressions of love, the expressions of friendship and joy, and utilize our time in our walk, expressing our creativity, greeting the goodness around us, and it comes back to honoring that life that lives in us. Speak to what you value. Allow others to be a part of it. And know that at all times, regardless of how small the act, any moment in the life celebration is a moment for all life. And this is the way it's done. Some of us have a lonely neighbor that we just need to spend some time with, and we all benefit. That is these times, the crisis at hand, ask us to be sellers of fortune, if you will, because we do indeed journey. And even as Autumn, as I'm working with her, this now fatherless niece of mine, is attempting to come to grips with it. I will be there for her And I will hope to bring her back to that place very soon, where she sees some goodness and that she trusts again. Such a huge issue when a dark act enters our life. So no, Susan, in many occasions we are asked to deal with suffering and challenges. But no, we did not specifically ask for them. But life does ask us to share in the challenge of the journey. So when we open our hands and arms to the world around us, life will put something there. We're all involved in this, friends. There's no place to hide, nor would we want to. Because the conflict today is very real. The earth shakes, rattles, and rolls. Depression encircles this land. Our children are being born with autism. Life forms in the forests and the oceans are leaving us. And it's not so that it's totally overwhelming. Earth has met these challenges before, and we were there. We were there. Maybe not in the face and form that we see it now, but life has always struggled to make this journey. But what it brings to us, the hopes that which will receive us, the more of this life is well worth it. And we're far too into it now to say no in any respect. So please, keep our chins up. When we were met with things that came out of the darkness or could have not been expected, find those qualities of life as soon as possible and celebrate them. The simple things. The open hand, the kindness, the goodness. The world and the world's life is asking for us to participate in a big, big way. And we can settle these oceans and push back that very edge of darkness that has encircled us and in which we are coming to know. So within each of us, the sense of value is so incredibly important because it tells us that we are actively insulating ourselves against that precipitous opposing force from entering and taking our life down a meaningless walkway. So stay where you are, and I hold here for you, friends. And by the way, some of you are sending me gifts and cards, and I greatly appreciate it. And I also appreciate your questions and comments, because dialogue from you is so important to help keep me focusing on the part of the message that you would like to deal with. But some has sent me a beautiful picture or a likeness of a tree. And as you can see, the canopy has been blown off. And this tree, surprisingly enough, has held the book of more or less in its hand. Even that which surrounds us in our natural world is seeking to understand and resolve these crises today. And remember that this message is really about discovery and awakening and helping you remember the all and the much that you are. So I hope that it is working for you. And I want to leave you today with the challenge to look into your life at where those who have come before you have been percolating through. And also, do you remember, or can you touch these adjoining realms and realities which surround our world? Have you been spoken to in the night? Have you felt and heard those whispers from the hedgerow? Have you heard your name called? Or have you seen some kindly, if phantom being in the far corner of your room? I would like you to reflect on that, because in our next session, I hope to talk about that which came before us and that which we remain connected to. Some of what we struggle with is to represent those who we now stand in for. Remember, it has been a long journey. Many have come before you, and you are now their hope and eyes into the world. They have not gone away nor disappeared from life, but they remain now in a phantom realm, somewhere close, but not very well illuminated. Thank you, friends, and we'll come back and speak again in a few weeks. Have a good day.